saying that going out without things can actually bring self-esteem and pride to children, and they can really see more the how little we need in our lives for us to be happy, and how sometimes when we're just indulged with too many things, that has the opposite effect of what we think we're going for.
Well, you mentioned the word disconnect, and I would think that would be such a big thing if kids are on their cell phones all the time and they sit there texting. I think I've mentioned it on the show before. I went to dinner one night and two teenage brother and sister were sitting there texting each other back and forth at the dinner table in a restaurant. I mean, talk about disconnect. So I would make up giving up TV. You know, there's more time for them to be together, be outside, and enjoying their lives connected. You know, so yeah, I think that's really excellent. So
well,
I have a question for you.
Okay, hold on. Just before you get to that question, because I'm dying to know what it is, I did want you to hear there was a senior that they interviewed. His name is Nathan Cantu, and he talked about the cell phone situation, because he said after 5 days without it, he was jonesing a little bit. But he also said that he was more focused and inclined to spend time with friends rather than just send a text message. There's a pride to it, too. There's a pride to saying no to things. Yeah. So I make I make up from that also what he said about he's more inclined to spend time with friends, to actually really connect, rather than having this electronic barrier to connection.
And the connection is so funny. How are you? Fine. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. I mean, it's just so
I have read Gabriella's text messages.
Like 400 messages, and not one thing gets said in 400 messages. It's pretty interesting. So, back to the question. What would you give up? If you had to give up something, if you were part of that deal, what would you give up? Something in a month that you could really notice that by giving it up, you were living without?
I would really notice giving up my computer for anything but work. Like, there's some things I have to do, like when we're editing and things like that, I have to do it. But I think I spend a lot of disconnected time on the computer and going into my little hole. That one would be really tough. And one thing I wouldn't give up, would say no to, would be books. That would be the one that would really hurt me. But the computer, which I think I could totally live without, is hard. I mean, even when I went to the cabin, I took the computer, and I couldn't connect to the internet, but I still did some stuff, and so, yeah, that one would hit me. What about you, Mitchell?
Well, I think the thing that would affect me the most would be pizza. Giving up pizza for a whole month, I would starve to death, basically. I don't know what I would do instead of having pizza. So that would really affect me. And, you know, it's funny because I like it. It's kind of the other side of, I was thinking about, we did a show on New Year's resolutions. And I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is I think, oh yeah, my New Year's resolution was drink a big giant glass of water first thing every morning. And so I think about how good that feels when I actually stick to that commitment. I know how, you know, you're always talking about how excited you are about that you're actually reading a book every week and getting that done. So I would imagine, you know, being without, it would be that same kind of really proud, really good feeling, self-confidence, self-esteem. Just feel really good about it. Staying in integrity. That always feels good, being in integrity with yourself, you know.
I thought of something that would be way more dramatic than my computer. It just popped into my head. Cosmetics.
Oh, interesting.
Cosmetics would actually do a real number on my head, I think. So that was, I'm not Catholic, and so I don't give up things for Lent. But as a child, going through school, and I had a lot of Catholic friends, and Lent would come, which we're in the middle of right now, and they'd give up the things they love the most. And I always thought, ooh, that must be rough for 40 days.
Oh, really? So, for 40 whole days?
40 days from Lent, from Ash Wednesday to... I don't know if it's the Friday before actually Easter. My apologies to Catholicism. But, yeah, it's like 40 days.
I think if I was a kid and I would have to give up something, I would have given up, like, broccoli or something, you know.
Oh, the parents check.
It has to be something that you really like.
Like you really like it would be like candy or cake or cookies. Or I knew some people, when we got older, that would give up cussing. That was really difficult for them.
Oh, that would be a tough one. That would be a tough one for me.
I just follow you around with a camera all the time and say you're on air, and then couldn't say anything.
I once had to stick a quarter. Well, I didn't have to. I did it for myself, but I put a quarter in a jar when I lived in Lake Tahoe. Every time I would curse, I'd put a quarter in a jar, and it accumulated really fast. because I thought, I'm not going to stop cursing.
Right.
That wasn't my intention. It was just to be aware of it. And I was pretty aware of it. It was pretty
awareness
amazing.
is the first step. I mean, they give up some things. Sometimes we pledge to do more things, like with resolutions, but just becoming aware of your habits really brings them to the forefront. And then you get to decide, is this something that I really want to keep doing, or is this something I want to give up? And obviously with the quarter thing, you decided to keep on with the cussing.
Yeah, well, I like cussing. I've always really liked it. When I was a little kid, it was one of my favorite things to do. It didn't really go over very big with my parents and with teachers and adults in school, and I was a little inappropriate with it, but yeah, I got a kick out of it. I don't know what it was about it when I was a kid, but I really liked the cursing thing.
May I say now, sir, that you are completely appropriate with your language
Oh,
in the
well,
appropriate times, and that your cursing to me brings fun and enjoyment.
Passion.
I think it's passion. It's passionate, and so I get a big kick out of it. So
I've been really good about not cursing on camera. I've been really good about it.
You have been very good.
All the shows I think we've done over like 20-something shows now, and I don't think I've cursed once on camera.
You haven't cursed once.
Hey,
I
yeah.
remember that we got recorded cursing once, but the camera wasn't on it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Plus editing. I forgot about editing.
Yes,
There's
so-
the editing thing.
So you A+, sir, A+.
So we have a show today.
We
don't
actually
Yeah.
have a show. We could just sit here and talk. We haven't seen each other for like 3 or 4 whole days. So, oh my goodness, we have to catch up. So, what's our show about today, Mitch?
Well, we did an interview with a friend of mine, a colleague of ours. Her name is Kathy Barr. And we did an interview on Psych-K, which is something, I actually had a Psych-K session about 5 years ago when I first became aware of it, because I knew it was all about limited beliefs, finding the belief, reversing the belief, and I had just gone through the Hypnotherapy Academy and got my training, so I was really interested on, wow, another way to find that limited belief. So, so I went and had a session with it, and it was really interesting. And Kathy explains about it. It's all done with Messel testing and kinesiology, and it mixes in psychology. And so, it's a great interview. Let's just go right to the interview, and everybody can check it out for themselves. And again, if you want to find more information about Psych-K, you can go to psychk.com, to their website. It's psychk.com. And you can find out all the information you need, and you can find out more information about Kathy on our website. It's yourmindthatmatters.com. So let's go to the interview. Good evening. I'm here today with my friend Kathy Barr, who's a clinical certified hypnotherapist, also a Psych-K practitioner. That's right,
correct,
practitioner,
yes.
Psych-K practitioner. And you also do dowsing as well, and she's an artist. She's all over the place.
And I'm a Reiki master.
And a Reiki master, real entrepreneur.
Everything about energy.
Energy and healing. So that's why we have her on our show today. So
Thank
Kathy's
you.
here today to talk about Psych-K. That's such an interesting way to talk about this. Where did that come from, the name Psych-K?
Well, Rob Williams is the originator of Psych-K, and he was a psychoanalyst for years, but also a businessman and was more results-oriented. So he originated this form, Psych-K, using kinesiology to muscle test the beliefs that we hold, and then came up with ways to balance them, to change them to beliefs that serve us better.
And was he a psychologist? He
was a psychoanalyst for about 14 years.
And is he the creator, Rob Williams? Was that his name?
Rob Williams,
Is
yes.
he the creator of Psych-K?
Yes.
How long has this been around, Psych-K?
He created this in 1988, and it went through evolutions like everything does, and it's been around for a long time and helped a lot of people.
Yeah, so you've already mentioned beliefs, and of course that's what I work with all the time, people's beliefs, how to change people's beliefs. Tell me a little bit about how you work with that in Psych-K, like where the beliefs come from, how people show up for you, and how the sessions really go, how they get started, how they go.
Okay. In Psych-K, it's not necessary to know how a belief was formed or why it was formed in order to change it. Through kinesiology, muscle testing, we identify the belief that we believe in our conscious mind that we hold, but subconsciously we don't. The subconscious mind is way more powerful than the conscious mind, and there's often a conflict. And we just identify through muscle testing the belief that needs to be changed.
You know, I love that you said that you don't need to go back and find out where this belief originated. I know so many times with my clients with hypnotherapy, that's their intention. They come in expecting to go back to the first time that they ever went there and never really where that belief actually got created, that sensitizing event. And it's pretty intense.